You got the floor. I'm Lamar Bearden, Talkin Live, and this is Jesse Lee Peterson, and welcome to Talkin Live, Jesse.
I appreciate you having me on. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, and I appreciate you taking the time to go on our show. And we're willing to promote your shows too. We'd be glad to help you out. Maybe sometimes simulcast on our show.
Right on. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have shows like on radio, when you have shows like we're doing now. You do interviews with other people. You've been on, I think, with Tucker Carlson and quite a few of the people that do Fox. And I watch your shows, and I seen a guy the other day, bullpen. He disrespected you. He didn't give you a chance to explain yourself. I watched that show. I watched some of your shows, and I watched you do a street, the street thing, asking people.
Street. Yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoy stuff like that, and it's great for people to watch, That way they can see and hear way people feel. That's what Talkin Live's about. If, as soon as we get these phone systems and everything together, we want to have a live talk show where people can call in, give their opinion, and, talk about the way they feel about things. And I told them, we don't want no racism. We don't want no cursing going on like that guy does, on bullpen. I don't think he should be using bywords and saying stuff like that. That discredits him.
Yeah.
He discredits himself by doing that.
That's why I tell people what they try to do to others, they're doing it to themselves, really. They're not hurting others. But
and everybody.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do want to say to your audience, for the last 33 years now, I started a nonprofit organization called BOND. It's the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. And we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Bringing back God's order of God in Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, and woman over children. And because one of the primary problems is that our country is going to hell in a handbasket because the men are not leading the way. God gave the responsibility to the man to lead the way and for the woman to follow him. And that's not happening today for several reasons. And so we're trying to point men back to God by telling them to forgive their parents. They got to forgive their mothers for turning them away from their fathers, and forgive their fathers for not protecting them from all that. And once they forgive, then God will forgive them. Then they'll wake up and they'll start finding their way back home to the Father. We tutor, we counsel. We have an entrepreneur program academy where we are helping men start businesses, some that are already in business, but some with ideas to start businesses, but don't quite know how to do it. So we show them how to do that. It's real simple. We have a credit union that I started because some of the guys don't have credit at all or bad credit. So we loan them the money and then they pay it back with small interest, those that's in the program. And as you say, radio show, JesseLeePeterson.com, JesseLeePeterson.com, or RebuildingTheMan.com, RebuildingTheMan.com. And we show them that they need to overcome that anger. If they don't let that anger go, they're never going to find peace within themselves. So we encourage them to overcome the anger by forgiving their parents first and everything else. When you forgive others, God will forgive you. And then you can have an amazing life, whether they forgive or not. God will forgive you and your life will be well. It has nothing to do with color. It has nothing to do with male or female. is all about good versus evil, right versus wrong. And we knew that growing up, but the people don't know it now because you don't hear a lot about the spiritual battle. They try to make it be a physical battle, but it's a spiritual battle.
You know, one of its problems is the homes are not being the children are not being teach the truth and fear God.
Yeah.
That's when we have so much violence because they took the Bibles out of the schools. Now they're trying to teach boys to be girls, and all this kind of stuff is going on right now. And children and young kids, they don't know what's going on.
Right.
They're so confused, and people are out there killing themselves, children taking drugs, trying to get peace of mind, but they don't know that Jesus Christ is the peace and the best peace you could ever get.
That's the only
You
way
know,
you're
but
gonna get it.
and it's not a bed of roses.
Yeah.
I mean, everything ain't give to you on the silver platter. You got to work for things you get. If you're going to be at peace, you got to be proud of what you do and proud of yourself. Make yourself proud. Show the world that you can do things without doing wrong. And God will help you. It don't make no difference who you are, where you come from, how much you've done wrong. God will forgive you, and He'll give you a reason to live right and do things right.
That is so true. And God doesn't judge you. He understands why things like that happen. But because you have anger, you judge yourself and others, and that's what the problem is. And you're right, too. You have to learn to have a good attitude, have an appreciation for your things and for life and for the country. And today, most people don't have a good attitude, and that's bad, too. And it doesn't matter what kind of work you do or whatever, you still should be grateful that you have a job. Save your money, buy yourself some land. One thing would definitely lead to another. But you know what? Because, Lamar, the parents are not teaching that in the homes.
That's right.
If the parents were that example in the homes, the kids would grow up like that too. When I was growing up, my parents and grandparents, they were like that. They worked hard. I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama. I worked the cotton fields and all that. And my grandparents and parents, they had a good attitude. They had a good work ethic. And they passed it on to me and my brothers and sisters. And it starts in the home, but they're just not getting it in the home. A lot of women don't want to stay home and raise the man's children. She want to be in competition with the man. And so they just dump these kids off at daycare centers and things like that. And when you do that, the kids don't have protection. They're going to grow up in the way that they are today.
Yeah, well, if you teach kids there's a penalty for what you do, and you got to answer for it, then they likely, you know, the Bible said that we learn the gospel. We always remember it. We'll never forget it. It's going to be planted in, even if we go do all the wrong we know how. It's planted. That truth's planted in us. It's us that resist the truth, and the world today and the children today are taught things that are wrong, and they don't have no guidance of right and wrong no more, just like you said.
Yeah.
And they get out there and they get on drugs and they're looking for something that they can't find, peace. They're looking for peace.
Yeah.
They're looking for hope. People are looking for hope in America today. And Joe Biden, he's not giving nobody hope. He's pulling people down to the point that, you know, that what's the use of me trying? He's destroying this country anyway. What am I going to try? Yeah. I hear this story. Well, I can't do nothing about it. I said, yeah, well, you can't if you don't stand up for yourself. You got to stand up for yourself. Got to stand up for what's right. If you don't, wrong will take over.
Absolutely.
And you know that.
And you're right. This government, first of all, is too big. Secondly, they don't want things to get better. They want people to live in fear. They want people to be overreacting because this government whole mission now is to control the people. And they are doing everything they can to control by letting all these illegal aliens in and they're bringing crime and drugs and all kind of stuff. And they have the races fighting against one another, the white people and the black people.
Right.
They're giving all our money to Ukraine rather than taking care of America. Prices through the roof. They want real oil. They want confusion, Lamar. They don't want peace, because when you're afraid, when you're on the run, they can control you. But if you don't have fear, they cannot control you. So they know exactly what they're doing. They're creating a socialist, communist society, and it's intentional. They do not want things to be better. They are evil now.
Yeah, they say, oh, Joe Biden's crazy. He's not crazy. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
All his administration, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They want the children to be all messed up in the head. They want them to have drugs. As they grow older, they can take over the country because they won't care. They're all doped up all the time. Why they care? If you're, let me tell you a little story about me. I used to be the biggest drunk that ever was. I'm going to tell you something. I never take drugs. Done cocaine one time. Didn't like it. But I love to drink. And I done a lot of wrong. I'm going to tell you something. I've done a lot of wrong. I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
But I want you to know this. When you get rid of all that, I got down on my knees. That's God, I'm so sick of me. I can't stand it. People never get sick of themselves and sick of the way they're living.
Yeah.
There's a better life out there for you kids. There's a better way. Taking your life, that's the devil telling you to do that. Do you think Jesus will tell you to take your life? Never. It's the devil telling you that you are no good, you're this and you're that. He's a liar from the beginning. He always been a liar. He always led everybody wrong, and he always will. You know what, people, if you blame the devil for something, they get mad nowadays. They do. They say, well, it ain't the devil. Yeah, you can stub your toe. You know what? When the world was created and God created man, and they were in the Garden of Eden, nobody stomped their toe because the devil wasn't around to cause you to stomp your toe.
Yeah.
But today the devil's everywhere. He's working everywhere to destroy people. And he brings this division between people because of race, color. I don't care where you come from, what color you are. If you got the right spirit, that's what matters. It ain't the color. I look at people today, I deal with Chinese, I deal with Koreans, they got cultures that the way they live, I can't change their culture. As I was talking to a friend of mine at church, a black church, and I said, y'all get excited. You're not like white people. You let it all out. And they do when they're in church. They don't get bound down. They praise the Lord. They lift their hands up and they worship God. And people today are too proud to do that. They're ashamed. And it's really sickening. But you got the floor again here.
And you're right about it's the devil. And I tell people that you would never tell yourself you're going to kill yourself. And God would never tell you to kill yourself. So just know it's the devil, so you don't obey the devil. It's not you. But one of the problems in religion today, the churches don't really tell people that. They don't let them know that that's the spirit of the devil that causing them to be unhappy and miserable and want to take their own life. And so a lot of people don't know that it is the devil, that they're possessed by the spirit of Satan, and they think it's them, and because of that, they're hurting themselves. So what the churches need to start doing is speaking the truth about what's really going on, so that people can understand. But they cover up the devil by calling it racism or sexism and white supremacism. They're really covering up the devil by putting other titles on it, And so the young generation don't hear about the devil, and they grow up thinking that is them. It's so unfortunate that the churches have become weak. They are afraid to tell the truth. And if they think that if they do tell the truth, then the people will leave the church, they won't get the money. It's all about money and power now. It's not about setting the people free. Whereas before, when I was growing up, it was about setting the people free. And the churches don't realize if you help people in the right way, they're going to help you. They'll give back. They'll help with the church. But they won't take that risk because they want power and money for themselves. They're really no different than the government.
Well, when you tell these people the truth, and they just say, you're judging. No, you're not judging.
Right.
Jesus spoke it before he died on the cross, and it's already settled, and we just follow what he said. We're not judging.
Yeah.
We're not judging, we're not judging color or race, or we're judging right and wrong.
Yes.
That's what we're judging.
That's right.
You know, we see, if you see, they'll say, well, you know, you got the mote in your eye and get it out, you know. How can you get the mote out of your brother's eye? Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you got any mote in your eye, you ain't no Christian anyway. You're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
You're just saying you are.
That's right.
You got to be what? You got to fulfill the Spirit's wants, not your wants. And people justify themselves because they have that lust to do things.
Yeah.
And they can't control themselves, and they blame the devil, say he's the cause of it. No, it's you. Like mine, I got a grandson down in Florida. His name's Zachariah Smith, and he told me, he said, people will say the devil made them do it. The devil don't make you do nothing. You volunteer and do it, and it's true.
Yeah, you don't have to give in to him, that's for sure. He can't make you do anything because he doesn't have real power. Christ defeated the devil. The devil does not have power at all. And that's why if you don't believe him, then he can't make you do anything at all because he does have power. You know, you mentioned racism. I've been telling people for a long time now that there's no such thing as racism. That's a made-up word. And that our battle is a spiritual battle. There are people who are on the side of good. There's those who are on the side of evil. And even in the Bible, it says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities and wickedness in high places. Nowhere did God say, we're fighting, there's racism and we're fighting racism. It's about the spirit. It's not about the color. And again, they have allowed the enemies of God to tell them that it's about race, it's about color. And people, it's so dumb. People fighting over color. It doesn't even make sense. It just does not make sense. But the people who have them doing that, they know what they're doing, because as long as they can keep the races divided and fighting amongst each other, then they can conquer what they want. And what they want is power, perceived power, and wealth. They don't care about the people at all. And that's why each individual adult have to turn back to God, so God can guide them. He can open up their hearts so they can see, and he will guide them instead of letting someone else guide you.
Yeah, I see so many people just drifting away, you know, and the Bible said a house divided against itself can't stand.
Yeah.
If we're divided, our nation is divided, we're going to destroy it. I don't know why that Russia and China and North Korea and Iran is threatening to destroy us. They got Biden in there. He's the one the way destroying this country. Why would they want to shoot a nuclear weapon over here? They got an allied right here in the White House that's destroying this country.
Yeah, that's right. They don't need to, Russia or China don't need to do anything. Our own government is destroying the country from within. They don't need the outer enemy. The enemy lives within. And I'm just hoping, though, Lamar, that come this next election, that we can get Biden out of there and vote in a man that's going to put America first. going to work for the country and not against the country. Hopefully, God will give the country one more chance to make it right.
Yeah,
because
I do too.
This whole mess started too, or got worse under Barack Obama, the fallen Messiah, and it feels like Obama's still running the government because I remember when Black Lives Matter was marching in the street, and they were saying, "Peace in the blanket, fry 'em like bacon." What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want it? Now. And instead of Obama rebuking them for doing that, the leaders of that, he invited them to the White House, which just added to it. And it just feels like Biden is being controlled by the same people or something that Obama was doing, because things have gotten really bad under Biden, but it looked like Obama government.
You know what I thought about Obama when he got elected?
What's that?
I thought he was going to be a great president. I thought he was going to help his people. But he turned out to be Mr. Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I love John Kennedy. I thought he was a great president. He made a way for people to get food stamps. I thought that was great. And you know, I've seen some Democrats do some good. And I think Donald Trump done more for this country than some president's done in a long time.
Yes.
I disagree with it is some of the things he says, not toward the country, is, you know, I like DeSantis, right? But I'll vote for Donald Trump. But I think Donald should not try to downplay his components because they're part of our Republican Party. And of course, I know we got some Republicans in there that ain't worth powder blow the brains out. and I sat around and I wondered and I think about most of these guys are all lawyers and everything, and they can't put a stop to this border thing. They can't put a stop to these schools teaching kids drag queens and all that. What are the idiots? I thought they're smart people.
Yeah.
I mean, and just talk about it. Oh, I hear talk about the border so much, this makes me sick.
Yeah.
The fact is, they're coming across the border, they're bringing drugs, and I see a lot of them that have high dollar clothes on, and they got cell phones and all that stuff. What are they running from? I mean, they're pretty. And then I look at the children in Africa and all these other countries that are starving to death, just skin over bone. And I think, oh, what about them? What about their more? But then I know those guerrillas and all those, they take all the food, they sell it, they take everything away from them when it's dropped down there.
Yeah.
I talked to people in the Philippines. I talked to people that came from Russia and all these places. The government gets, when they send all these billions of dollars to Ukraine, I guarantee you the pockets are running over with the government officials' money. The people that's not getting it. When tornadoes come, hurricane comes, earthquakes come in these countries, it goes to the government, and they keep most of it. They don't get it.
Yeah. They don't want to make things better, Lamar. If they did, they would do it. They know how to do it. They send all our money to Ukraine. They send our military equipment to Ukraine. Why would they put that much effort in a country that has no benefit to us at all, but leave our borders and our doors wide open for destruction? They do not want to make it better. They want to make it worse. And that's why they're trying to keep the Great White Hope. I call Donald Trump the Great White Hope. That's why they're trying to keep him out, because Donald Trump is not one of them. And they know that if he got in, he's going to really, really expose what's really going on. And they don't want him in there. They're doing all they can to keep him away. Even when he was in the White House, they worked against him rather than working with him. He could have gotten much more done had he had the support of even his own party. The right-o Republicans are no different than the Democrats. We have a one-party system now. There are few Republicans represented within the party that want to do the right thing and try to do right. But most of the Republican representatives are no different than the Democrat. They're about themselves and not the people. And now they're holding all these meetings rather than taking care of business. I don't want all these meetings. I want to get the border closed. I want to start by drilling, bring down taxes, and get rid of these regulations and make it better for the people to do what they need to do. But they're going to do exactly what they did last time they had control. They just have meetings after meetings after meetings, and then they hold press conferences, but they never get the job done at all. They are pretending that they're doing it, but they're not. So we have a one-party system now.
They need to do something instead of talk. You know, you heard those saying about walk.
That's
talk
right.
and walk. But we need to get together and do something about what's going on in Washington. We don't. Hey, and I tell you what, Max Cleland. You remember Max Cleland?
I don't.
He's a U.S. senator. Before September 11th, he took me in the Pentagon and took me all over the place up there, and I met all the generals and all the admirals and all that. He was over the Veterans Administration. He was the guy that was in the wheelchairs that got blowed up in Vietnam.
Oh.
You might have seen him. He's a U.S. senator.
Yeah, I think I remember
in Georgia.
that. Yeah.
And I was down. We got a picture of September 11th. It was painted, and I was presenting it to him to put in the Pentagon. Supposedly it's up there, but that was for the blowing up the Pentagon. But Max was a good guy. He was a Democrat, but he still leaned toward wrong. About the guns, taking the guns and stuff like that. And back then, like I told you, I was just a drunk. And so I cussed him out right there at the Ritz-Carlton down at Buckhead back then. So, and he said, I told him, I heard you want to take our guns away, and that's a damn lie. I said, well, that ain't what I heard. And me and him got into it about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's an old story. But I like Max as a person.
Right.
I didn't agree with it, and I couldn't stand it. I don't think I could ever like Joe Biden or any of his administration. But I wouldn't. I think I would respect them more, but they don't respect us.
Yeah.
They want to put us down all the time. We got to bleed their way before we can be a part of their, as a friend of mine told me one time, and this is why I hate Donald Trump, why they do, the Democrats, they hate him.
Yeah.
You got to be in that circle to be able to be a part. Donald Trump wasn't in the circle. He was an outcast.
Yeah.
And here's a man that really cared.
Yeah.
And what made them so mad, they couldn't say, hey, Donald, you do this and we'll do this for you. Because Donald had everything he wanted. They couldn't bribe him. They couldn't. So, I mean, this, thing about Stormy Daniels and all that stuff, that's the stupidest thing I ever seen. That's whatever happened between him and Stormy Daniels is between Stormy Daniels, Donald Trump, his wife, and God.
Yeah.
It ain't none of their business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I shouldn't say this, but I told you what I done when I was years ago, and the Lord brought me back to her. I backslid. She sat in my lap when I was out there storming it. I'm not lying to you. I had pictures of it. And my ex-wife, she she put it on Facebook, and I got the picture and tore it up and made her take it off. And
Wow.
because it embarrassed me, back then.
Yeah,
And
so Stormy Daniels sat in your lap?
yeah, she sure did. I was out, me and my ex-wife, she was Puerto Rican, and me and her both was crazy.
Yeah.
And we partied. We drank from daylight to dark, partied. I ran into Bobby Brown Whit in Houston down Buckhead.
Oh,
But
okay.
and then we run into Elton John, and we used to run into Mike Epps, and we run into a lot of people that.
Yeah.
Down in Jamaica, I jumped off a cliff down there, almost killed myself.
Wow.
Rick's Cafe, and she was 27, and I was 56, and we got married, but we was both crazy as a bat, and it's just crazy. But anyway, we went out there to Vegas, and we happened to go in there, and they was having that porno show, and that's where she sat in my lap, and I gave her, I think, $100 for the picture or something, just a donation. So maybe Don will give a donation. I mean, and I don't think Donald Trump done nothing. They're just lying suckers.
Yeah, I agree. So if there's a choice between Donald Trump and DeSantis, which would you vote for?
I'd vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, me too.
I like DeSantis, and that's what I say. And I don't. He done what he done. I think he's a pretty good guy. But I think Donald Trump, what he started, needs to come back in and finish.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would like, if I was face to face with him, I would say, "Hey, Donald, humble yourself a little. Don't get crazy when you talk sometimes. Humble yourself a little. Because people will like you a little better if you humble yourself a little. I know you're not used to letting people talk to you anyway, and I don't either.
Right.
I don't let nobody talk to me. I don't care where they come from, who they are.
Yeah.
I don't let nobody disrespect me, and I don't disrespect nobody else.
Nice.
Don't matter who they are or where they come from.
Yeah.
I treat everybody the same. That's the way I am. That's why God give me a heart like that.
Yeah.
And I think he give you one like that. I think he'll give you a heart like with love. I think he did.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lamar, what's wrong with the blacks?
What's wrong with the blacks? I just think they got the past on them in their heart so much, and they can't get rid of it. It ain't nothing wrong with them. It's just that hate that they let be built up inside them.
Yeah. 100%.
Do what?
You're 100% right. Absolutely.
I would be hard to understand why people hate one another because of their color.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of black friends. I went to fashion shows in Atlanta, and this lady, she's a black lady. She's the designer. They treat me just like and I treat them. I got a friend, he's a hip hop singer down there, and him and his wife's gonna come do a show with us.
Oh, no.
But I tell everybody the way I feel, and I show you the way I feel.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. I won't apologize to you either. If I say something, I mean it.
Yeah.
And that's the way you're supposed to be.
Yes.
These guys that get up there in Washington, they said they'd done this and they'd done that, and they're sorry they said it. No, they're liars. They ain't sorry.
They're
sorry they're just sorry they might lose the election. That's what that is.
Absolutely. They're just sorry they may lose something. They're not sorry about anything else. You're right about the anger, and I keep telling the blacks that they need to drop the anger. and so they can really see what's going on. It's not about color. And if they overcome their anger, they've been lied to. And it really been going on for a long time, too. And especially with the so-called civil rights movement, one of the worst things that ever happened to the blacks, other than abortion, is was the civil rights movement. If they have, it caused the blacks to go downhill like nothing else. Because Martin Luther King and all them, they told the blacks that it was about race, it was about this, and they taught the blacks to start hating the white folks. Because prior to that, blacks and whites judged one another based on character. It wasn't about the color thing. But then the civil rights movement came along, and they told the blacks it was about color. And what happened was, at some point, the Democratic Party and the so-called civil rights leader got together, because most blacks were voting Republican. And so they got together and told the civil rights movement, if you let us bring the blacks over to the Democratic Party, we'll let you rule over them. We'll let you be their leaders. And so the blacks, they gave up God as their leader, and they took on physical people as their leaders. And you cannot put anything or anyone before God. And if you do, you're going to pay the price. And now the blacks, they love physical leaders. They love the black leaders. They love free stuff. They love a welfare check, and now they want affirmative action. And they refuse to take back their lives. They refuse to turn to God. And each generation, because it is evil, each generation is getting worse and worse and worse, because they have not dealt with the evil aspect of it. And we're going to see more and more of that if they don't deal with it.
You know, Al, I told a black friend of mine one time, I said, he told me, you know, that everybody should get a big check because of the way they was treated in the back days. All right, well, I told him, look, I just want to ask you this question. Did you ever have a rope around your neck? Did you ever get whipped with a whip?
Yeah.
And I said, what good would that money do the ones that suffered because of white man's evil ways? No man should be nobody's slave. I don't care what race they are. But I said, what would that do? Would that give them any peace or whatever? I said, let me tell you what I think. I said, I think those people that mistreated the black people, those white people, and made slaves out of them and treat them like as dogs, I think those people are in hell. I think those humble black people that suffered for no reason is in heaven now, because there was no reason for someone to make somebody's life miserable because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. Another thing too, they leave
If
out.
we had the, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to chat the floor again.
Yeah.
If these democratic cities would take all that, you know, in Chicago and all those cities got all these rundown buildings and homes, and they took it for taxes. They're just sitting there rotting down. If you want to help the black people and the white, whatever, if you want to help somebody in your city, give them people that have houses that don't have a place to live. Give them some money to fix that house up. Give them an opportunity to get a job and have something to work for.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting there rotting down and people are going hungry, no place to live. That's what they need to do. That's the way I feel about it.
But there are a lot of empty homes like that. I noticed in Gary, Indiana, in the downtown area there, the community, empty houses everywhere. They're just sitting there and rotting out, and the drug addicts are using them. And you're right. They should let the blacks earn it. They don't give it to them free, but they let them earn it. to buy it, and that way they can appreciate it. Because if you give it to them free, they're going to destroy it. But there are right ways to help, and to give people something free all the time is not the right way to do it.
No,
You just make
well,
them worse.
I'm just saying, give someone a opportunity to make something out of themselves.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody talking about, you know, blacks are all the drug dealers and all that, but there's a lot of white people drug dealers, and there's a lot of Spanish people. In my experience in the recycling business, I've run into a lot of people, and they think, you know, but I know some that learned that ain't the way to live, to deal in drugs.
Yeah.
They quit, they growed up, they become a person that realized what they was doing was just a waste, and that was destroying too many people. I mean, you got to answer for that one day. What if I go, just say I bought somebody a drink and they got drunk, ran out there and had a wreck and killed herself. That blood would be on my hands.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. And all these dealers, they got blood on their hands. And Washington's got more blood on their hands than anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. They, as you know, even the government is legalizing drugs for the people. And as a result, blacks and whites are on drugs. I said on my show the other day, I've never seen so many white people living on the streets and on drugs and things like that. But it's the government that's giving it to them. And they make spaces so that these people can get high, and no hands on cops. The cops cannot do anything about it. And it's really, really destroying, especially young folks. It's destroying them. I never thought that one day our government would legalize drugs. That's the darndest thing I've ever seen. The government taking away this punishment for drugs and set it up where the people cannot take care of themselves because they're high. It's the crazy thing about, and these pot houses are on every corner. They're like liquor stores now. They're everywhere. And the government, they want the people out. They want them crazy. They want them fighting. They want them needing so that they can control them. It's all about control. It's about socialism. And that's
that's what I was going to say to you earlier. They get everybody all high, and they don't care what happens.
Right. That's amazing. But that's why we got to take responsibility. As adults, we got to take it for ourselves. We got to fight to take back our life and not be led by anyone but God, so that we cannot be set up to be destroyed and used in the way the American people are today.
You know, and I feel like your show, my show, it's doing something for people. And you know, I'm not here to make money. I work and I pay for all this. And I want to touch the kids out there. I want to touch the people that's planning on killing themselves. I want to touch the kids that are throwing their life away. I want our government to know that there are just as bad. They talk about Putin over there. He might be blowing up all these people and killing them, but what are you doing? You're letting all these drugs come in this country and killing our citizens.
Yeah.
You're letting them get started, and they don't care about life. They're living on the street, and I can't stand the way they treat our veterans. I hate that too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That makes me mad too.
Yeah, and they also letting in terrorists from all around the world. They're starting to catch people who are terrorists coming into our country. It's just a mess, Lamar. But God is with us. We're making somehow or another, especially individuals who return to God and take control of their own life. We'll make it through.
That's how I can live, and I have hope in a better place. And you know, I will say this, you know, these people that think everybody dies go to heaven, but they don't all die and go to heaven. Everybody dies, don't go to heaven.
That's right.
And if heaven's going to be like this hellhole, I don't want to go.
That's right. That is so true, man. It's been an honor speaking with you, and I hope that we get a chance to work some more together.
Okay. Well, and you stay in touch with us.
And I want the people to check us out at rebuildingthemand.com, rebuildingthemand.com, and jesseleepeterson.com. And that way they can check out my radio show and whatever we're doing, jesseleepeterson.com.
Yeah, and you people that's watching, I want you to, and we're going to play this over and over, and we want everybody to work with Jesse to complete what he's doing. Help him, bring him, and send him up in the front and the top, and bring all you can to him, because he is doing what God's asked him to do. And he needs help. He needs people to and spread the word about Jesse, and of course Talkin Live too. Do all this for him, and you'll be doing something for yourself.
Right on. Thank you, man. I totally appreciate that.
It was great talking. Have a great evening.
You too, man. Have a good one, and we'll talk again soon.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.